Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we're going to discuss the 2024 Thai film, hysterical, heartfelt horror film, My Boo. So this is 2 hours and 5 minutes long, very long film. I honestly wish it was a miniseries. I think if it was 4 episodes, it would have been absolutely perfect. But in hindsight, this is a perfect film. It had heart, it had comedy. I actually slapped my knee and laughing. That doesn't happen. This was a knee slapper of a film. Certain things were just so over the top and so hysterical in regards to haunting aspects or just the comedy of it as well. It was wonderful. And I didn't expect the heartfelt ending at the end. Main character's name is Joe. This takes place in Thailand. Everybody speaks Thai. I don't speak Thai. Subtitles are my friend. And so he is at his grandfather's will reading with the rest of his family, and he gets nothing. And his cousin says, the dilapidated, summer home, I'm going to give that to you. And Joe's excited because now he's going to own a home, but it's a haunted house, which he doesn't know yet. So then he goes, and then he's there, and then there's 3 specific ghosts, Anong, and then 2 other ghosts are there. And he can see them, but others can't. And then, he's learning about ghost powers that they can only come out at night, and they can't really interact with technology, but this particular ghost, Anong, he's starting to fall in love with her, and he doesn't understand why. The thing is technically she's his ancestor. Technically, if it was his grandfather's house, and then down the line, 80 years ago, she was murdered in the house along with 2 servants, Chung and I forget their 2 names, but they all have different ghosty things. So one of them's head, he was decapitated, so he could throw his head around. The other girl was stabbed in the stomach, so she can use her intestines as whips and stuff. And then the main girl, she was strangled, so she can actually twist her head around and do creepy stuff. So Joe borrows some money from a loan shark, and then realizes that there's money to be made in haunted houses. So he creates an amusement park type of haunted house or a fair on his property, and then charges a lot of people. And then there's this group of 20-year-olds in his town, led by Kong, whose girlfriend is Soda, but Soda likes Joe. It's very entertaining. It's very high school, but it's very entertaining. So then at one point, it's a matter of, can Anong possess Kong, who has a motorbike? That way Anong and Joe could actually go out on a date and go out to town, because they can't leave the property, because the ghosts can't leave the property. So can they do this? But it's funny because Joe is seeing Anong, but the rest of the world is seeing Joe and Kong. And then a lot of videos are being recorded, and a lot of people are saying, oh my God, what a cute couple. And it's just very cool to see such welcoming experiences of 2 guys going out together and dancing and flirting and forehead to forehead and all that kind of stuff. A lot of characters were non-binary in this, so it's neat to see normalcy in regards to each their own. You're happy, that's great. Nobody's throwing tantrums and trying to ban this and that because of stupidity, as we are currently experiencing in the States. So it's refreshing to see outside of this horror of a country that we live in, that I live in. Other countries are civil in regards to gender nonconformity, in regards to same-sex couples, in regards to being true to oneself. The pursuit of happiness, which is what the country stood for at one point here in the States. As Congressperson Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez had recently said, sometimes things have to get worse before they can get better. And we're currently experiencing that. So on to the better. Anyway, it was a breath of fresh air to see the normalcy and to see the reality of another country accepting individuals for being their true selves. Gorgeous. So aside from that, and that obviously wasn't the main point of this film, it's just something I noticed because that's currently being severely threatened in this country and taken away in this country. To see it in another country and celebrate it in another country, I loved it. And so within regards to that, that being aside, the ending of the film I couldn't figure out. And the whole time we're going through it, I was like, how is this going to end? Because the human can't date the ghost. So how is this going to end, right? The possession of Kong obviously is going to stop. So what happens? Kong's obviously going to freak out, but what happens next, right? So the twisting of it, kind of, if you will, the big reveal at the end is that the cousin didn't actually give him the house because the cousin's name is on the deed, technically. And he's going to knock it down and build buildings and blah, 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 this and that, and make a fortune from it. So Joe is, of course, upset because his lifestyle of running this very successful haunted house with his ghost girlfriend, my boo, haha, and the two friends he also made along the way, the other two ghosts who were killed there, their murders were left unsolved, and they can't leave the property. They can't, cross over or anything like that because they have no idea where their bodies are. A thing that I absolutely loved about this is that Buddhism was a main staple point through this, that every country has their main religion. Note I say I have air quotes around this because religion's all fabricated anyway, but it's a matter of what's the country's main belief or practice. Practice is a better word. Buddhism is a main practice in regards to Thailand, and this particular film was celebrating that. It was very civil. It was very, monks are going to do the prayers, and we're going to ward off the evil spirits, and we're going to do this, we're going to do this altar, we're going to do this tribute, and all these different beautiful things. And I really enjoyed how that came about. And throughout this, it was not a matter of them saying crossover. I'm used to saying crossover because of the whole heaven and hell aspect we have drilled down our brains as small and innocent children in the States. The Buddhist aspect is rebirth, reincarnation. So a lot of the characters throughout, human and ghost-wise, are saying, oh, well, I'm going to come back as this. And, if you're going to wait this long and then come back together and stuff like that. And it was just a beautiful way of putting it, that you can just celebrate your next life, rebirth. So I really enjoyed that also genuine aspect of culture watching this. So the premise of these ghosts that can't leave the property, they can't cross over, is something that I would say, being in the United States, but they can't reincarnate, they can't be born again, is something you would say in a Buddhist faith, because their bodies are nowhere to be found. So when the house is torn down and you see the bodies underneath the foundation, then they can finally cross over. Then they can properly get their rights written. They can have their cremation, monk style away, Buddhist style, but in fruition. And it was so beautiful. I did not expect anything from this film. I didn't even know what it was about. I knew it was about a horror film. I knew it was about a boy liking a girl, a ghost girl. And I didn't think I would like the main character as much as I did. Joe was a wonderful, gorgeous character. Did not expect to like that main character as much as I did. I just thought he was going to be a twerp as we were introduced to him, just streaming games at the beginning of the film. And he gets money from a loan shark to get more game equipment, stuff like that. But he has character development. The ghosts have character development. Kong and Soda and their friend group have character development. They all start to work at the fair. So it was so well done. I didn't expect to laugh as much as I did. I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. But that's what's cool about watching something where you're not familiar with a lot of it. I knew that it was going to be in Thai. I knew I was going to be reading subtitles the entire time. I knew it was a horror film. That's all I knew. I was like, we'll watch it. It's on the list. If we don't like it, we'll turn it off. I've turned off plenty of films before. I give it a minute of 3. So there's a 3 minutes, 30 minutes, and that's it. So it's for a film. If it's a TV series, it could be 3 minutes, 30 minutes, or 3 episodes. That's the 3 mark. But for a film, if it's 3 minutes or 30 minutes, it depends. Like if you hit the 3-minute mark, we'll push it to 30 minutes. And if it's still garbage, that's it, we're done. But this I didn't do that with, because immediately from beginning with seeing this character and then getting the money, and I was like, okay, so there's going to be some ghost mishap then with a loan shark, which was funny. I was blown away. I had low expectations for it. I didn't know what to expect, and that's why I had low expectations for it. And I learned so much about a culture I'm not familiar with along the way, and that's why I like watching films that are not in English. I like learning about cultures that I'm not familiar with. The country of Thailand, I'm not familiar with. I've never been there. I've seen bits and pieces of, Thailand via different film series and stuff like that, but never like a celebration of culture. This was just very genuine. These are day-to-day Thai people doing their things. This is how they have their religious aspects. This is how they have their social media aspects. This is the music they listen to. This is the clothes they wear. This is the food they eat. Frogs on sticks. Who would have thought? I loved this film. I cannot say anything terrible about this film because there is nothing to say about this film that is terrible. Nothing terrible to say about this film. Absolutely gorgeous, wonderful, heartfelt, funny. I actually laughed so hard my ribs hurt at one point. Film. My Boo, 2024 horror film. Amazing. Go check it out. On to the next review. Mahalo.